What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I'm curious. After a conversation I had earlier, which I'll go into detail in a little bit, but after a conversation I had earlier today, it got me curious to thinking to some of the old stuff that had happened to me, as well as I found myself asking what everyone else possibly had in this line of thing in their own life. So the main thing I want to ask is, what have you ever done to get someone to play a game? Like, for example, maybe you've played a game and you're like, holy shit, this game is brilliant. I'd love to play this with my friends, or I think this person would really like to play this game. And maybe they're a bit stubborn, or they're a bit hesitant, or whatever. What have you done to like influence, or just give me examples really of what you've done to get people to play the game? Be it what you've said, what you've done, how you've swayed them, whatever. I'll give you quick, perfect examples. Is a while back. I don't remember exactly when this was. It might have been late 2012, but what happened to me was myself. This was back when I was still buying EA games, like an idiot that I am. We were myself and my friends were usually playing Battlefield 3 most nights on Xbox 360, and the game can be fairly rage-inducing, and everything, the adrenaline runs high, the testosterone gets flown as it does, and eventually, through sheer bugginess and just the game being entirely broken for months, I eventually, through a series of misfortunate events, if you will, it caused me to rage remove the disc from my Xbox and snap it into about 6 or 7 pieces. So that's a rage moment anyway. And all my friends were still playing it. They were still playing Battlefield for the next couple of weeks or couple of months or whatever. It kind of started to die down. Excuse me. It kind of started to die down between a lot of them, and they said it wasn't really the same without me. And I was like, well, listen, there's no way in hell I'm buying this back. And all during that time, I was playing Diablo 3 on and off. And as you do, you can't really play Diablo for 6 months hardcore. I personally couldn't, at least anyway. Not Diablo 3, but eventually one day, myself and a friend, one of the friends who were playing Battlefield, we were downtown in one of the stores anyway, and as usual, he was trying to convince me to buy another copy of Battlefield, and I was just straight up refusing. And at this point, I think it's called the Deluxe Edition, or I don't remember what the exact name of the edition is. It was the Battlefield 3 edition where all the DLC was included. I think it was Premium Edition. That was it. Battlefield 3 Premium Edition had released. So he picked that up. He's like, listen, look, here it is. We'll get, just buy this, and we'll play it just like the good old times. And of course, I was having none of it, and I was trying to. All this time I was trying to get him to play Diablo with me on the PC. So we made a deal in that store that day actually, whereas I would buy Diablo for him, and he would buy Battlefield for me. Now the games were the same price, so it wasn't that wasn't an issue. But the main thing is we strolled up to the counter anyway, and we're in the queue, and we're just looking at each other. It's like, are you going to buy this, and then am I going to buy this, and then like you're not going to. You're just going to turn around and put that down, and we both thought the other was going to do that anyway, but we both bought the game for each other, so that way I didn't buy Battlefield and he didn't buy Diablo, because he didn't really want Diablo too much, and I didn't want Battlefield at all, but I wanted him to play Diablo and he wanted me to play Battlefield. So, I mean, that's basically the end of this story. I will have I won't call it a segue, but fast forward a couple more months, and I ended up rage snapping that Battlefield disc into a bunch of pieces as well. And I've never played Battlefield 3 on Xbox 360 again since. I played it now and again on PC, but it's never been played on 360 ever again. So that's one of my main stories anyway. The other one is, I'll give another quick example, and then I'll touch on the story that I mentioned earlier that I actually happened today to influence and made me think of this video. But the other one was basically when Minecraft Xbox 360 edition came out. We all knew, myself and the same group of friends actually, we all knew what Minecraft was. We'd have seen stuff for it on PC previously. None of us had played it, but we all knew what it was on PC and all this, and none of us were really interested in it at all. And eventually I just said fuck it. They still had Xbox Live trial games at that point, so I downloaded the trial and I started playing it, and it got to me. I was wondering, it was like, this is really weird. There's something, the tutorial is fairly limited, but I'm compelled to want to play this more. And of course, all my friends were in the same boat that I was in previously. We had no interest in Minecraft. We didn't think it looked any good. We thought it was pointless and all that. And later on that day, one of my friends logged on. It was actually the same guy with the Battlefield Diablo stories. The same guy. He logged on, and I was telling him, listen, download this trial, give it a try. But really, I'm just really recommending you just jump straight into the full game, and we play from there, because the trial or the tutorial just doesn't really give you the proper feel to it anyway. So he reluctantly, after about like 20 minutes of trying to get him to try it, he did it, because it was a small download, and it was free, and it was a small download, so there wasn't really that much he had to do to actually get it, but it was convincing him to do it. So he started playing it anyway, and a few minutes into playing it, he was in the same boat as me. He was like, there's something about this game that just, it compels me to want to play it more, and I feel that we could do so much more with the actual game. Now, at the time, mind you, the Xbox 360 version of the game, which was only out that day, it didn't even have creative mode. It only had survival mode. So we did it, that was a big issue at the time, and we made do with survival mode. So later on again that night, a different friend of mine, who was also one of the guys from the Battlefield group, but he got home from work and he signed on to his Xbox, and he saw we were playing Minecraft, and he was asking us, like, what are you doing playing that shit? And we were saying, listen, it really isn't what you think. Just give it a try anyway. I was like, no, it's bullshit. So we said, listen, just give the trial a chance. We're recommending you skip the trial and tutorial and just jump into the main game. Just buy the full game, because it's not the same thing. And he downloaded it and he tried out the tutorial. He didn't like it. He played it for, I don't know, like 10-15 minutes in the tutorial world. He didn't like it, and he didn't pick it up there and then. Now, fast forward another hour or so later, myself and the original friend were still in my world on my Xbox. World I still have, mind you. We were playing away in survival mode, and we were all in the Xbox Live party. I don't remember what the other guy was playing, and he could hear us talking about all this stuff anyway. And then just out of nowhere, he disconnects from the party. And then he reconnects to the party, which back in Xbox 360 days means he got an update for a game. So what happened anyway? Boom, he just instantly joins into our Minecraft game. He's like, man, I just joined in and just took the plunge and bought it. I was like, you won't be sorry. I mean, this is really, the tutorial doesn't do it justice. You've heard what we've been doing for this entire like hour or so, and it's just been phenomenal anyway. Long story short, within minutes he was hooked. Once he got into our world and our survival world, and obviously the more stuff you could do in there, and he was hooked straight on from there. All of us, including myself, those two guys, one of their brothers, we all played Minecraft pretty solidly for a few months on the Xbox 360, as well as some friends of friends and all that would occasionally stop by, but there wasn't really a huge thing. It would mainly be our core group of 4 people. There'd be myself, those 2 friends I mentioned, and the original friend guy's brother. That was our core group. That was our same Battlefield group as well. So it took a bit of convincing and a bit of getting them to actually do it, but it was definitely worth the experience, and it was a good outcome at the end of it. As far as the original story with the Battlefield and Diablo, that wasn't really a great turnout. Battlefield, it was always a broken game. I didn't really enjoy it. I just enjoyed playing with my friends, which I can do in almost any game. I can, unless the game is like extremely bad, I can enjoy just playing almost any game with my friends. And in the case of Battlefield, I'm obviously a really good player of like pretty much any game I play, especially Battlefield. I was like ridiculously good at. But you know, the fact that I was playing with my friends and I was just being a beast in the game that I was playing with my friends, it didn't really make Battlefield seem as bad. And then obviously I got to play Diablo out of it. Now, we didn't really get to play Diablo a lot together, mainly because he wouldn't play Diablo a lot. But myself and the other friend that it's going to be really confusing at this point. Myself and the other friend, the one that eventually bought Minecraft later that night, despite originally protesting against it. We and him played Diablo a good bit, and then once Reaper of Souls launched, the three of us actually, we played a lot more together. Myself and that friend, we already had max level characters at the time, and the other guy joined in. He leveled up pretty fast, and we did a good bit of dungeon crawling, especially more recently, like within the last. Sometime this year, I'd say we've done a good few stuff. It's like we kind of vary from patch to patch. We'll play hardcore for a few weeks every time a new patch hits, and then we'll stop. But I'm getting off topic anyway. Now I'm going to go back to one more thing, and this next little story is what triggered this video and what triggered the idea for this video. This one actually happened today. It's kind of been ongoing for a couple of weeks or maybe a few months at this point, but very, very vaguely. It'd be like maybe once a month, and it'd be just a passing thought or passing glance. But today it was a lot more serious, and it actually, I presented a possible option for it anyway. So what's going on with the one that sparked this idea? Well, we'll start way back when. Originally, when this probably won't surprise anyone when I mentioned the title of the game, when Borderlands was first being shown off, the first Borderlands game. Obviously Borderlands became a huge series, became really popular and really enjoyable. But when Borderlands 1 was first shown off, I was not a fan. I didn't like the look of it at all. Some of my friends wanted to play it, some of them thought it looked alright, but they didn't want to play it, they didn't want to go and buy it without people to play it with, because it's a very social game. The story mode is it's very good in Borderlands games, but the real meat of the game is the co-op grinding and the co-op exploration stories and raids and all. So back when Borderlands 1 launched and was coming out, I didn't think it looked any good, so I skipped it. Borderlands 2, same deal. But then one day, I bought Borderlands 2 on sale, dirt cheap on a Steam sale. I think I paid like €4.50 or €5-6 for it, and then I paid like, I don't know, maybe €8 for the season pass for Borderlands 2. So I got a fairly good deal on the entire thing overall. Now, eventually, this was probably about a year, maybe 2 years before I even ever played Borderlands 2. I only played Borderlands 2 for the first time last year. Yeah, the first time last year in 2014 is the very first time I played Borderlands 2, and I probably bought it back in like maybe 2012 or 2013. So it was a long time between that anyway. But I started playing Borderlands 2 and I absolutely loved it. Actually, I can tell you exactly when I started. Oh, I hit my pop filter. I can tell you exactly when I started playing Borderlands 2. It was indeed towards the end of summer 2014. The reason why I know that is partially because of, I'll get into it now in a second, but it's partially because of the type of game it is. So yeah, I bought that 2012, maybe 2013. Didn't get around to playing it till 2014. Reason for that would be when Destiny was coming out. I knew Destiny was going to be the same kind of game as Borderlands. I skipped the alpha. There was a PlayStation exclusive alpha directly after E3 of 2014. I skipped that alpha, but then I played the beta a few weeks later. And I remember playing the beta and thinking, wow, this game is absolutely horrible. And this is Destiny now. And I thought this game was absolutely brutal in almost every single way. I cannot see this being good at all. Hopefully the main game is a drastic departure from this. Otherwise, I just would have not bought it. It had my friends not been buying it as well. Again, the same two friends from the previous story. They were buying it, and I had originally planned to buy it. And It's like, ugh, fuck it, I'll cave. Hopefully, it's a big difference. Fortunately, it wasn't. But once I finished playing the beta, I realized, okay, Destiny is like Borderlands. I'm going to give Borderlands a try to get in the mood and the mindset for that kind of game. Now, I'm not unfamiliar with grinding games for better weapons and stuff like that. I've already mentioned Diablo. I've played Diablo 2 for 10 years. I played Diablo 1 for God knows how many years. I've played Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy 14. I've played Phantasy Star Online. Back in the day, I played Ragnarok Online for a little bit. So I've played Phantasy Star Universe. So, there's a lot of MMOs and grind-based games for that kind of thing. So I'm very familiar with the gameplay and the game style. So I jump in, install Borderlands 2 someday, crank all the settings up to max, as you do. But I started playing it, and almost instantly I was in love with it. Within like 5 minutes, I absolutely loved Borderlands. And I went pretty fucking ham into Borderlands for a few weeks. I mean, I think I clocked up like 80 hours in the first week of Borderlands 2. And that was pretty crazy. So I've been preaching Borderlands 2 being a good game for forever now. And ever since then, ever since I started really enjoying it, I tried to get my friends to buy Borderlands 2 on the PC so we could play it on Steam together. Now, the guy from the Diablo Battlefield story, the guy who we bought each other the games, no homo, but that was a joke, by the way. Don't get offended about that. But that guy, he refused to buy Borderlands, and he still won't buy Borderlands to this day. And this comes from, it'll stem to today, which is when all this started. So the reason why he won't buy Borderlands, actually, before I get into that, the other friend that is part of our usual little crew, I got him to buy Borderlands pretty cheap, and we played it for a little bit. Unfortunately, it kind of fizzled out because I was so high above him in character level, and he was just a really slow player at it. He didn't play often, and starting a new character from scratch just to play with him wasn't really enjoyable. But that's a whole other thing. But yeah, this other guy, he wouldn't buy it, and I kind of agree with his reason. The main reason he won't buy it, he won't buy Borderlands 2 on PC. He doesn't really like gaming on PC. Funny enough, he has an Alienware laptop, but he doesn't really like gaming on PC. Now, Borderlands 2 isn't a very exceptionally demanding game. So the main reason he won't play it is because it's a Randy Pitchford game. Now, in all fairness, I do support him on that. Randy Pitchford is a fucking bollocks. But having said all that, sorry, I'm kind of coughing and laughing at the same time here. Having said it, all the shit about Randy Pitchford, is the game itself, Borderlands 2 is a fantastic game, and I really want him to play it. Not just because I'll be able to play with him, and the three of us will be able to play it together, but simply because I actually think he would enjoy it. I know what he thinks of Destiny, and we all know that Borderlands is like Destiny with the fun and the co-op enjoyment and the good characters. It's like, obviously Destiny wants to be Borderlands, but it's not because it's horrible. But Borderlands is the good Destiny, if you will, and I think he would like that because he kind of wants to play Destiny on and off, and he wants to enjoy Destiny, but he has trouble with it because it's Destiny. So I think he would really like Borderlands, and I finally broke down and laid it out to him today. I was just trying to get him to buy it again on PC, on Steam, Borderlands 2, so he could play it with me and the other friend. I said we even have low level characters that you could join with us on, and it wouldn't be too much of an issue. But I even jumped down to his level on it, and I said, listen, just to get you to buy Borderlands 2, what I'm willing to do is I'm willing to stoop to your level and buy Borderlands the Handsome Collection on either Xbox One or PS4. He has a PS4. His brother has an Xbox One, and they both live in the same house. His brother doesn't really play his Xbox One, so he has his Xbox One most of the time. And he's also getting a Halo 5 Xbox One. So he's going to have his own eventually soon anyway. So the whole deal was, I said, listen, I have a PS4, you have a PS4, our other friend has a PS4, I have an Xbox One, you have easy access to an Xbox One, and you're going to get your own one soon, and our other friend has an Xbox One as well. I'll buy it on whatever platform you want to play it on. By the way, the PS4 version plays a bit better, so if let's buy it on that if you do go to buy it. So I told him that if he was willing to buy the Borderlands the Handsome Collection on either of the current gen consoles, I would buy it for myself. Like, he could buy his copy and I would agree to buy my copy at the same time, and we'd make our other friend buy it. He's a pushover. We make him buy everything. I know, right? We make him buy everything to either like beta test it or play it, or play it with us, whatever. We just make him do it, and he does it without a fight. But I told him, I was like, listen, the three of us will play it because we're all starting out on a console. It's all going to be from scratch. We'll all be playing together the entire time. We won't, I won't be fizzing off because I'm 40 levels ahead of you or anything like that. So I got him to, I didn't get him to agree to it, but I got him from a straight up, no, fuck off, fuck Randy Pitchford. I got him away from that up to a, we'll see once it's a bit cheaper, which usually means yes. Now, we have an expensive couple of months coming up gaming wise because we're both buying mostly the same games coming up this year, and we've worked it out and it's pretty expensive. So once all the major stuff is out of the way, we'll look into actually doing it. We'll get our third friend in on it as well, and we'll get going hopefully with Borderlands 2, because I hear the pre-sequel isn't as good. It's like Borderlands 2.5 that just felt almost like a cheap spin-off. So I was saying to him, listen, we can play that if you want, but I'm really recommending we play Borderlands 2 out of anything. So hopefully we'll see how that goes. So this has been a much longer video. I know I used to make videos this long, but this one has been longer than I intended, because I do tend to rant about my stories, or not so much rant, but ramble with my stories. It's simply because it's my favorite. Gaming is my favorite hobby, pastime, whatever you want to call it. It's just my favorite, and I can talk passionately about it, and I've got so many stories, both enjoyable and unenjoyable, but there's so many of them that I could literally talk for days and days if I didn't need sleep or anything like that, or if I didn't need to get up and take a piss or get a drink or get something to eat. I could literally talk for hours just about gaming simply because. So because of that, we'll end the video here. Like I was originally asking, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of my stories, because I'm just curious if people think I'm a fucking lunatic. I'm not going to be offended if you think I'm a lunatic, or if you think I'm a good friend or a bad friend or whatever. Just let me know all that. I can take it. I'm Irish. I'll be fine. But I'm also curious what anyone else has done to get people to play a game. Now, I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can put in what maybe you bought the game for them. Maybe you had to a funny anecdote about how you, some kind of roundabout way or way you describe the story or the way you describe the game to morph to something that you knew they'd like to actually play it. Who knows? Let me do all that. Maybe you did some sexual favors. Whatever, that's on you. Let me know all of that stuff in the comments section below anyway, because I'm curious what everyone else has to share about it. I know I'm not the only one with some funky stories. So let me know all that in the comments section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel. Hopefully with some 3-player Borderlands 2 from some console, from the Handsome Collection, some point in the future. Hopefully it works anyway. Thanks for watching.